Hey everybody, it's Joshua Watts with another build video for you today. So today we're going to be building leather baby shoes. I'm going to be using lambskin for the shoe and then Kodiak hide, which is cow hide that's been oiled all the way through for the soles. There are many ways you can do this. I've just went to a local leather shop and bought a kit that had, for baby shoes, and I made my own patterns out of that. With that said, you can actually do whatever you want with these. You can put fringe on them, you can bedazzle them, you can even make them a different style. But once you have the concept down, it's really not a hard thing. So you can see here, I'm using the Kodiak hide for the soles. I've already got the holes punched in the hide, and now I'm just cutting out the actual sole themselves so that you can see very cute for little baby feet. So this is, like I said, it's not a difficult build. I'm not showing me cutting the patterns out onto the leather, but I will show poking the holes because, a lot of people don't understand that you actually have to poke the holes through the leather before you sew it. Sewing leather's nothing like sewing a material fabric. So yeah, you need to actually punch out each hole that you're going to need to sew the leather together. Now the two holes that you see that aren't, they're just kind of by themselves up there, those are actually going to be the holes that when you go to lace the shoe together, that's what the lace is actually going to wind up going through. So here you can see all the holes cut out now, or punched out. Now I have to do that for the next one. So after I have all the holes punched out on both pieces, I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of mink oil. I'm not going to do any dyeing or finishing on here. I'm just going to put the mink oil on there. That'll act as a bit of a resist and help treat the leather and actually darken up the leather just a tiny bit. I should note that this stuff actually smells pretty good and it feels really good on your fingers too. I mean, your fingers are leather too. And then once I have the mink oil applied to both pieces, I'm going to go ahead and take a rag and just kind of buff out any excess oil because it's kind of a waxy substance. So yeah, now we're going to have to get to the assembling part. As you can see already, I've counted the first few holes multiple times. This is kind of a pain, but you do need to count them because you have to wind up finding the direct center hole. In total, you're going to wind up, if my math was right, counting 29 holes for each side, and there's going to be a spare one in the middle. So that is a total of 59 holes. So once you have that figured out, you want to go ahead and start your lacing. Now, I'm going to sew this with artificial sinew. I think it's a nylon material that is infused with wax. So you want to go through the first piece, the side and top, the main piece of the leather first, and then you're going to wrap it around. I'm really sorry for the camera work here. I'm paying attention to what I'm doing and not what I'm filming. And then you're going to do a whip stitch around the outside of the leather. And you're going to continue that all the way around until you start to get to the curve of the toes. Now, I should note, when you start your stitching on here, don't make any knots on this. The less knots you have, the better, because it's going on baby's feet and you really don't want anything hard on there. So we're getting close to the toes here, and I'm going to wind up slowing the video down right about here, I think. Oh, maybe I was wrong. There we go. And you're going to need to fold the toes around, the other half around. And it's going to wind up going through all pieces of leather, all three pieces of leather now. And you can see that there. And just go ahead and continue to do that whip stitch all the way around the outside. Just getting that little piece of that sinew out of the way. And now we're going to be on the home stretch of the stitching. I should note when you get to measure the length of your thread to stitch these shoes together, you want to use, you can get enough thread so you can go all the way around it with one piece. That way there's, again, not knots going all the way around the shoe. Not only does it not look good, but it's going to be uncomfortable for the baby's foot. So I usually use about an arm's length for this particular project. Now we're at the very end of the stitching here, and you're going to make your last stitch through, and then you're actually going to wind up going through holes that you've already been through. Now this is going to create an X stitch on the back. Just go ahead and make that stitch. It's going to be a reinforcement. And then as you see, I'm going to pull a little bit tighter here just to make sure it's nice and firm. And then I'm going to put the needle through. And what I want to happen here is I want it to actually go in between the lambskin and the Kodiak hide. And my needle just got caught inside of the thread there. It split it open. So just go ahead and pull that through. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then you're going to want to tie two just standard knots. And as you pull them tight, they'll kind of seat themselves down in between the leather itself, so the knot itself shouldn't be seen. So go ahead and pull two of those there, and then you go ahead and trim off the excess. And then you want to get yourself a lighter, and very carefully just kind of singe the ends of the thread off, and then seal them down with your fingers. Be careful not to burn yourself. The next thing you want to do there is, as you just saw, just kind of stick your fingers in there, stretch out the leather, and then cut yourself a piece of lace here. It can be any color. I'm just using a suede lace here, and then I'm going to lace the shoes. The next thing you're going to do is go ahead and fold down the top part of the shoe. Gives it a very cute look, and then you're going to go ahead and just tie the shoe. Like I said, this is a pretty easy build. Anybody can do this one. Yeah, so there you have it. If you haven't already, please subscribe, share the video, like the video, and I'll be seeing you next time. Here you go. Thanks.